right. So here we go. Our fifth and final game that we'll be reviewing today. Still haven't found out when Greg is playing. If anyone in the chat happens to know, I'll see if I can message him as well. Find out. Let me look at the forums and see if I actually posted it somewhere there. But I know Tom and Brian are playing tomorrow at basically this time tomorrow. It's 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. They'll be playing both games of their matchup to try and get those completed. Nothing like waiting until the last minute. But I don't know when Greg and Kieran agreed to for game number 2. Let's see if I posted it. Nope. Don't have a time yet. Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to find out, Wayne. So let's see if we can. I'm going to message Greg and just find out. Hopefully he will answer. I assume that's also probably going to be tomorrow. Hopefully it's not at the same time. That way we can stream both matchups live and find out after round 1 who will have the lead, if anyone. It could be a 3-3 tie. You never know. But we'll find out where this game's going to end in just a minute here and see where things stand. Let's get off and running. We've got old allies. We've got a stunning move. Establish control, combat response, battle order first strike. Not exactly the start that we normally see. Not the destroyer droid version that we've seen team the Pittsburgh crew. Matt Carulli, Reed Smith used very successfully at some events this year in 2019. So it looks like he's got double backs to get Fets and Forloms. He's got short range fighters to get Slave 1 here. Yep, he's got Fett and Forlom options. If you're running the short range fighters and the double backs, I almost wonder if you don't need the combat response. I mean, I guess you didn't have to burn the double back on Boba to match up instead of Forlom. And you probably want to do Forlom to start cycling cards and things like that. So, a stunning move, one of our newer objectives, features a couple of the cards that we are in the league kit that we showed off earlier today. Kind of interesting how I did that. So you can't deploy a couple of guys. You can't deploy Imperials, no First Order guys, no Sidious. So that still leaves you with a plethora of aliens, plus Maul, and all Republic characters as well. Grievous, Destroyer droids, any droids really. And that, once per turn, you can get an invisible hand sight or a non-unique Separatist icon droid. Separatist icon droids are only virtual cards. The regular battle droids and destroyer droids do not have this icon, so therefore they cannot be pulled with the objective. And I've seen a few questions on that in the forums where they're like, I was trying to pull a regular destroyer droid, or I was trying to pull, OWO with backup, and the objective wouldn't let me. It's because he doesn't have this icon. Well, actually, it's non-unique, so you couldn't get OWO, but, the B2 battle droids, I believe, have it. They're virtual, as do the droidicas that were created. They have it as well. The flip side, of course, limits immunity to attrition of everything to less than 5. And then if your Separatist icon character is with the Insidious prisoner, opponent loses a force. Dooku should have that icon, as well as the aforementioned droids. I think that's about it. I don't think maybe Grievous has it as well. I'm not sure on Grievous's icons, but we'll check if he hits the table how that works. And then similar to some of the other decks we've seen, you can search your force pile, reveal any one card, reshuffle. Opponent can lose 2 force to put that on the bottom of your used pile, and then otherwise you get to take it into hand for free. So a little similar in the way it works out, cost-wise and things like that, to Watto. Opponent loses 2 force, the card goes used. Same result, just a different. Same cost rather, different mechanic. Watto would get to deploy the card for free, whereas this you just get to take it into hand. But the card is coming from your force pile, So you can get, at any time during your turn, you can do that and force your opponent into the position where they have to choose to lose or let you take the card. But first, you got to walk the Insidious Prisoner over to the sites. You got to escort him to these adjacent sites. And there's the observatory entrance and Fondor. And he's going to put a card back with Forlom, and he pulls a Maul. Always a good card to pick up. He's got a Force Push to go dig for anything he wants, picks up a Dooku. And Newt Gunray is also pretty huge in this deck, excuse me. So Dooku does have the icon there. Newt Gunray. During battle, cancel game text of a Republic character if ability less than 4 present. Gets a few guys. Mostly in WAP, you get people like Jerish Janik or Captain Panaka. Mostly what we see Newt used for here is the if with your Republic character or character with Trade Federation in lore, add 1 Battle Destiny immune to attrition less than 3. Trade Federation pops up a little bit more often. You see it in P59's lore. Some of the other droids, P60, Dooku's got it. So Newt gets 4 ability, draws a destiny on his own. If he's with any of those particular droids, he's adding a destiny. So it can certainly give you a big benefit. Usually you see 2 or 3 copies of him played in most of these decks, especially because he's Destiny 3. Good deploy forfeit ratio as well. All right, so Ketwol draws a couple more cards and moves on to Shaw's turn here. He sends Leia used, picks up Poe. He drops Lando. See if he pulls Rey. He's going to put Poe on the Falcon as well, with Raddus as a passenger. He's then going to use Raddus and get Rogue One and pull the Ravager crash site, which the game text is then canceled of. At the start of your turn, stack top card of Lost Pile face down on Graveyard of Giants. Unless opponent's Scavenger present, opponent's Ravager crash site is canceled. Game text is canceled. So unless they have a guy here, a Scavenger here, which there's only a couple of, their game site, their game text on the site is canceled. The part that lets you stack cards on Graveyard of Giants, which I don't think I've ever really seen anybody use. So just an extra 2/1 site, and if you were having the possibility of your opponent playing map, you'd want to play a different site, one that maybe wouldn't get converted in the shuffle. So might be explanation for that card choice. And the Falcon will take off with its 9 power, 2 battle destiny, immune to less than 5 from Poe's text. And we'll see what Kieran has in store for turn number 2. He can go get another location. There's the Invisible Hand Bridge. And we also saw that the Blockade Flagship Bridge was in there. So he can accelerate to get that, and that should be all of his locations. Certainly pretty good force activation ratios he's given himself here. A couple of 2-0s. He pulled Fondor early, 2-1. These are a couple of 1-1s. So he's up to 17 already and only getting 3 from his opponent. So that's pretty strong. All right. He's going to drop Dooku. Dooku has the Separatist icon, which is required. Actually, I don't think it's required to move him, just required to do the force loss on the flip side. While at a site, adds an icon. While on Coruscant, once per turn, if a player controls this site, they may have this card follow their first character to move from here using land speed or docking bay transit to a battleground. So Dooku moves, he gets the option to have it follow. It's a lengthy way of wording that to say he follows the guy when he moves away. And that's how you complete that. So he's got the force push to protect Dooku should he need to get out of the battle. He also has a Gick, picks up another copy of Maul, and Grievous. Grievous does have the icon, it's just on the other side of the card because he has all these extra weapons that he, warrior icons that he can use over there. So he's got his Separatist icon is on the other side of the card. We find an O switch off as well, which is very good for preventing weapons and things from targeting your droids. I certainly think a stunning move benefits from some of the changes in the upcoming errata as well. It was already a pretty strong deck. Certainly we saw a number of players this year have good success with it, and some of the other light side decks getting taken down a little bit of a peg certainly helps it. A deck like Diplo, though, becoming more popular does make it a little more challenging because this deck isn't. You've got a finite number of characters, so a deck that can spread and cover multiple locations can be a little hard for it to interact with. It should also be noted that all players submitted their deck lists ahead of time for this event. They were submitted a day before the actual games started. Actually, a couple days before the games started. So players weren't allowed to make any. Their deck decisions and card choices were all locked in without knowing any of the decks as they were being played throughout the weeks. So, you know, if Greg had been watching and saw that Silver Glen had already played map, maybe he would have changed a couple of cards in his interrupts or things like that. They're like, oh, I know I'm not playing against map because somebody else in their team already used it. So they were limited to only one copy of each deck type to try and create some deck diversity amongst the team as well. So all the unique features of the Outrider Cup. Greg does drop blue 11 with Rey and Rose. That flips his objective, and he consolidates, leaving Rose outside where she has to be in order to retrieve force, and moving Rey inside blue 11, which is maneuver 4. Kieran is going to force push. And he's going to send a Lord Maul, who also has Trade Federation in his lore. This is one of the virtual Mauls. During battle with a Jedi, unless Obi-Wan, battle weapon destiny draws are +1. Not really going to happen this game because there are no Jedi. He does have a permanent weapon that does get to swing, but most importantly, he's got the Trade Federation in his lore to get the extra destiny from Newt Gunray. Trying to suck out the barrier as well before putting P-59 down, since P-59 is going to be the guy to take the shot at the blue 11 speeder. Greg pulls a Hujix, which he's anticipating the option he may need. So he tries to deploy Finn as a react here to the battle, and the Lana-Do Breed combo does cancel the react, one of the many things the card does. We see it most often played for the first part here, preventing guys forfeits, but it also cancels disarmed and cancels a react. And then the other part of moving guys during the move phase. also comes into play. So Newt adds a destiny. P59 is going to shoot Rose. I guess he's just going to take the force damage, or try and take the force damage, although he misses. Let's say try and shoot the speeder to clear that out, but I guess the fact that he's up 6 and drawing an additional destiny, he's just assuming he's going to win by enough that if he'll just take the extra force loss from the P59. He doesn't need to hit the speeder. He's going to have to probably lose it and or Ray anyway. Rose is going to get made forfeit 0. It's also pretty hard to hit the speeder too, especially with him being able to subtract 2 with the objective. So I mean, you got to draw 6, and if you don't have any of those, if you do draw it, then your opponent just subtracts 2, and he wouldn't miss because it's +1. So, but again, it doesn't make it forfeit 0. So, some combination of stuff would still at least cover all the damage. He will subtract from the destiny there, the first one, making it -2. And he draws a 5 there, so he's going to have a 7 total, putting him up to 21. Lightside's going to get 1 destiny. Ray's going to add 1 to the total. And she's going to forfeit and cover 7. So that's a 4, so that puts him up to 12. So he's down by 9. Ray covers 7, so it's Ray and 2. If he wants to keep the speeder, which would make the most sense as well, because he also doesn't want to get flipped back. Kieran's going to play the imbalance combo to try and retrieve a guy. If opponent's character just lost, lose 1 force to retrieve the topmost character of ability less than 6, except maintenance or permanent weapon in your lost pile into hand. I think the only card he's got in his lost pile is P59, who's excluded because he's got a permanent weapon. Does OA run the Finn, Ray, Interrupt the Destiny Adder one? Some builds do, some don't. It's one of those cards that's always right on that cut line. It's like, it's great when you have it, and then there's enough games where even when you do have it, it doesn't end up doing anything because of things like Justice and Command to get the extra battle destinies. So I've seen it in some lists. It seems to be kind of a card that's usually it's one of the cards when you're trying to find something else to squeeze in, you cut that. All right, so he moves Dooku, moves this guy, flips the objective, then he gets the peek in the force pile, and he's opting to take Dr. E into hand. Shaw's going to let him have Dr. E. And then he's going to put Walkling out of play and pay the force and retrieve Ray. And now Kieran will just draw a few cards with the rest of his turn. Excuse me. All right. Blue 11 does have a permanent pilot, so he's not flipped back here, and he does satisfy battle order, which isn't on the table. So he does get the drain for 2 in space. Loses direct hit and Dr. E from hand. He's running 2 Dr. E's though, so it's kind of sneaky for him to throw him away. Might make his opponent feel safe. Direct hits a card we don't see too often. Add X to Weapon Destiny before it's drawn when targeting a combat vehicle. Used, it's 1. Lost, you add 3. So certainly beneficial with your P59 and P60, likely. Possibly any other droids. That could try and pick off some of these speeders and things if you're expecting your opponent to play something that would use that. He picked up Boba Fett as well here. So obviously we'll probably see at least some sort of space presence from Kieran next turn. See what Shaw's going to want to do here if he wants to if he has any interest in trying to battle. He's going to draw some cards for sure. He drops Lor San Tekka. He drops Leia. He drops Padme. So Padme will add a Destiny. And there's Cassian. Okay, so Cassian can cancel a draw, a weapon, or battle Destiny. Leia will get to retrieve for initiating the battle because there's a resistance character there. So she'll get the Admiral's Order back. Puts a 6 back in his deck. Maul's going to try and cut down Padme, just like in the movies. There's no Jedi around to stop him this time. Oh, he's got the defensive interrupt, though. I think I can handle myself. Which, if you're not familiar with it, in addition to doing a number of things, cancel Weapon Destiny targeting your female character. Strong. Add 1 to Force Strain where you have a female character. Useful. If your female character is defending a battle alone at a site, add a Destiny to total power. Very helpful. If it's Rey, she's also completely immune to attrition. Excellent. Used Destiny 4. Very solid card to include in a variety of decks. We see it most frequently in Old Allies because there's usually other protective cards. We don't see it in too many other decks outside of that, but it certainly could find a home in a number of different deck designs. Between General Leia, Padme, Rose, Rey, you've got 4 female characters right there that can take advantage of it. Is there a rebel in Lost for Cassian? Probably not now. Well, it doesn't have to be. Place a character in your lost pile out of play. So Rose is in the lost pile because he lost her earlier. It doesn't have to be a rebel. So you can put Rose out of play should he need to. So he subtracts. Yeah, he used Cassian, put Rose out of play, cancel a Destiny draw on there. And light side's going to win the battle here, 17-11. And they're going to have to forfeit Maul to cover the attrition and battle damage. But as we see, he has more Mauls. And he activates 21 force. So I don't think he's going to have an issue. He'll use the objective to cause 1 force loss. Battle order still isn't out. He can go pick up any card he wants. He opts to take Maul. His opponent gives him to him. Yeah, I don't know if he was just expecting battle order to be in play because he didn't force drain. He caused the 1 force loss and then went to deploy phase. Unless I'm missing something here. It subtracts from the force generation. But I'm pretty sure that once you're flipped here, you can drain away. Oh, battle orders first strike. Duh, he started it. No shield. Heh. It's been a long morning. Thank you, Gornall. All right, here's Maul number 2. And guess what? Here's Dr. E number 2. Sneaky. Come on, who throws away Dr. E? Nobody throws away Dr. E unless you got a second copy in your hand. It's like nobody throws away EPP Maul unless they got a second copy in their hand already. If you top deck them, that's one thing. If you deploy them from hand, yeah. If you're just like, I probably won't need EPP Maul this game, right? Don't fall for it, kids. It means he's got 2 in his hand. Alright, so now we're going to get a battle, and we're going to get some people shot. The Rebel Barrier got canceled. Curious that he used the barrier to stop the second guy and not the Dr. E. So we'd have to think that he probably has at least one of the defensive cards. Whether it's the Odin first aid combo or the female interrupt again. So P-59 shooting at Lor Santika. He's hit. He's operated on. And he'll have 2 force loss to lose. Greg's going to top deck Admiral Statura and a perimeter scan. He'll add a Destiny with Padme while he still can. Might have wanted to swing at her first or whatever like that, but just to avoid that. Although Old Ally's not known for drawing the highest Destinies all the time, so if he figures he's just going to lose Maul anyway, Maul covers 7. Alright, so Leia's hit. There's the Odin combo. That'll protect her forfeit and also keep Dr. E from operating on her. Slight little difference between the light side and dark side cards, that extra function, because, well, Dr. E is incredibly powerful. And now Maul will swing at Padme. If he's got another copy of the female card to cancel this, that would be huge. But I'm not holding out hope here. 2 4s. Again, that'll hit her. And she's operated on. He doesn't have any cards left to add an extra Destiny with Newt, but I think that's okay here. He still has an incredible, huge power advantage. And he needed, obviously, every force possible in order to deploy everything he could. So he draws the O switch off that he put back earlier with 4-Lom. It gets subtracted, so it's still a 4. Leia and Blue 11 forfeit for 14, which is exactly what he's down by, as he loses the battle 24 to 10. Extra Destiny to attrition. He draws a 5. That gets him to 7 total, which kills Maul, which he's okay with because he's got more to him. So Maul goes away, and Blue 11 and Leia go away, and light side flips back. And you kind of just pass your turn at this point and say, go. Shaw will pay to drain in space, causing that 2 force loss. He top decks the O switch off in the imbalance combo. And now he's going to cycle back Rose, who we put out of play, so we can't deploy her anyway. Might as well put a 5 back and take a 1 out of the deck. He gets Solo. Solo goes to the outside site. He did not use. He's got Ray. Okay, I don't think. I don't. Yeah, he definitely has her available. Gets another used pile search and possibly draw on the bottom card again. Yep. Forlom's going to put back that and draw the other 4, getting the decree. Yep. Probably see Ketwol try and set up some space this turn after he does some ping damage first, whether or not he wants to pay to drain or anything. He takes the barrier canceller. It's always an interesting game trying to guess, do you think, what card do you think my opponent will let me have, or what card do I want to take to force him to lose cards that I know he doesn't want to give me. Alright, so Fett and Slave 1 go down to Fondor, so now he can get around Battle Order, so now he can start draining again. And Maul's going to come after Solo here. And he should cut him down pretty easily. Ouch, there's the Sith Infiltrator. P-59 does have Trade Federation Gornal, but Newt Gunray is an optional. He's a May, so you have to declare it. May add 1 Battle Destiny. So you actually have to click on Newt and select that. Alright, so Maul picks off Solo, making him forfeit 0. Draws a 5, gets reduced to 3 because he's still flipped here. And we'll see what light side draws. It's a 5. So they're going to get out of here. He's going to use heading to the medical frigate. Use solos once per game. Add 1 to the destined draw, making it a 6, making the battle a tie, so he doesn't have to lose any extra cards. If that's really your only solo, then you might as well use his ability while you can. Use it or lose it. Sometimes you won't see people use it if they're playing 2 solos, thinking that they'll get the other copy out later, and there might be a better interrupt they would want to play. But in this case here, it makes sense. Just use the interrupt and call it a day. And then he will stack a 5 on top of it, preventing occupation damage for the remainder of turn, which you're allowed to do even though there's no occupation or whatever on table, because it's just sort of a prevent these 7 things from happening. So we get a drain of 2 and a drain of 1. Kieran's going to top deck some cards here. Justice, Force Lightning. And Cold Feet. And there's Rogue One with Anakin, and he will get barriered. Rogue One is immune to attrition less than 6 when at your opponent's system. Anakin adds 1 to each of your draws. There's a Corellian Corvette. See if it ship docks and moves Radis, maybe? Seems the most likely. Move Radis over. Yep. And then he moves that over. for some extra power and forfeit and possibly a leadership for a second battle destiny. Dark Side Cycle and a card back of Forlom picks up that Sith Infiltrator. That's not the most useful. But now they can start doing some damage. They'll keep doing the 1 ping damage. But now he can drain for 1 and 1. The drain of 2 will get reduced by the objective. Corn Horn goes off the top. Escape Pod goes off the top. He takes Django, which his opponent lets him have. Django's going to go aboard Slave 1. Not quite the broken combo it was in Legacy, when this whole thing would be immune to like adding 2 Destiny and immune to less than 8 or something. Crazy like that. But it's immune to less than 5. Fett adds a Destiny when piloting it, so it's still 2 Destiny here, and he doesn't have any Jedi maintenance or permanent weapon characters. So still power 10, 2 Destiny. You've got a short range combo to spin. This thing is maneuver 5. Nobody adds to it, I don't think. Oh, adds 1 to maneuver, so it's 6. So you can draw 1. Well, in this case, you'd have to spin first because he only has 1 card left. So he can spin a 6 and draw whatever this is, which would then get subtracted by 2. I think if this is the card he put back last turn, that should be the point man. And there we see Grievous going to the ground. And he's just going to move some stuff around. Grievous moves over to the 2-0 so he can get an extra drain in. Django's going to move and block the drain at Jakku. Yep. P-59 is going to move in front of Rey. I assume everybody else is coming along with him. So that would make the most sense. Now, in order to reduce force drains, they have to control 2 Jakku locations. So even if Rey moves over here, he still would need to put guys over here, and he's only got he's got 7 cards in hand. And we'll see Kieran cycle back. All right, so it's an accelerate, setting that 6 up on the bottom there. Which he will then lose the accelerate. There's a Chewie in there, and there's a Dash and Rogue 10 in there. Oh, just get a message from the missus. All right, so we are going to get a battle in space. So Fett gets the once per game exchange. You can put back any of those cards there. He's going to put back the Chancellor, and he's going to take the Invisible Hand. There's so many options with that text. It's so strong with cards that you can get. Because it's not even, they don't even have to initiate a battle. It's just if a battle is just initiated. So you can use it offensively or defensively to go get stuff like that. And getting the Invisible Hand is very strong because it adds a Destiny if Grievous is on table, which he is in the stunning move. So plus then your guys at these sites can move up from the bridge from below decks to the ship itself to give you additional power and additional forfeit and possibly, pilots and things like that as well. So he draws a leadership and he draws a rose. So he's got 9 total there. He's going to play the short range combo and spin a 6. And then draw something that'll get reduced by 2. So he's got 8 for his total, which is more than any of these people forfeit for by themselves. So 2 people are going to have to go. I hate when that happens. All right, so Finn goes. Both pilots go for Darkside. Calrissian goes as well, leaving behind Poe Dameron. And now that the ship is no longer piloted, Darkside would have to pay to drain, so that's a successful sequence for Lightside there. They did lose some of their pilots. Obviously, you'll have to move the Corvette back over, which they do. And he's going to ship dock again and move Radis back to the Falcon and move Poe back to the Corvette. We may see the Falcon land here. Yep. Falcon's going to land and turn into a vehicle. And Rey's going to get inside. It's a little curious when you think that Ketwol only has 3 cards in his hand, but he also did just take any card he wanted with the exchange from Boba Fett. So you have to wonder about all the different possibilities and trying to play things as safely as you can at this point. He reveals Afra, which his opponent allows him to have, and he cycled with 4-LOM into No Escape. That was a huge play. No Escape to get Fett back. Now he can drop the Invisible Hand. He can drop Boba. Heck, Afra's a pilot. You can put her down too. But that's 2 Battle Destiny right there. He's going to deploy her there. He's going to use her to move a card to the top. And because it's a droid, he then gets to retrieve that card. He'll get P-59 back. He's not going to battle Poe. Instead, he's just going to move 4-LOM up to the bridge and then shuffle some people over. Poe's only getting 1 destiny there. He's capped at less than 5. He doesn't have any destiny to draw himself. It looks like he needed all of his force to do everything he wanted to do, but not knowing necessarily or where the No Escape was, if that's what he had to do to get to it. And he does have the kick in his hand, so not overly worried about leaving Afra there by herself. Yep. Yeah, he could have deployed Afra over here for free to one of these unoccupied sites and then just moved her up to the bridge as an extra pilot too. So lots of options. But he's going to try and cover as many ground sites as he can and keep his opponent from controlling 2 Jakku locations so he can't reduce his drains either. But as expected, there had to be something left, right? So he's got Chewie. Chewie will swing, take a shot, hit, make forfeit 0. Neither side will get Battle Destiny. Um, but the Lando Breed combo would prevent the forfeit from being reduced to 0. So Afra's 3 forfeit would cover, and nothing has to go away. Or no extra cards have to be lost, I should say. Yep, protect her forfeit. So, pretty tight game so far. Look at life force counts. They're both at about 14 face down. Uh, Kieran's at 15. Greg's got 6 more cards in hand. So Greg has a 5 force lead at this point. But he's not. Neither one of them's really doing a whole lot of damage. Ray's going to get back out. Falcon's going to take back off. Ship dock and move Poe back to the Falcon. Nope, he's just going to draw. Wasn't sure if he would move Poe back to the Falcon that way in case he needs to lose. If his opponent draws, 2 solid Destiny and he has to lose 7 or 8, he could just lose the Corvette. But I guess his other option is, of course, he can lose Radis and the Falcon. Now that Ray's on the ground and half his other pilots are dead, it's not as valuable. But he does control the 2 Jakku battlegrounds, so he does get to reduce the drain from 2 to 1. Loses a keep your eyes open, loses an insta hit, loses a fin, gets drained for 1 over at the invisible hand site, and then gets 1 ping damage from the objective. So nice 5 damage turn for Kieran. And now he'll have his choice of cards, and he goes with Force Field. And he will drop Asajj Ventress to go kill Chewie. He didn't leave enough force to swing to make Chewie forfeit 0, so instead he'll just have to rely on Battle Destiny here, which hopefully is higher than 2. He's actually going to need it to be at least a 4 to prevent losing any damage because of the objective subtracting. Hey, what do you know? It's exactly a 4. So they're going to tie 6-6. Oh, they're tracking us to subtract 1. So now he's got to lose a card. That's fine. I'm sure he'll lose the card he just drew for Destiny. In order to keep Ventress on the table, blocking that site for a little longer. Yep, he loses the combo. Alright, he'll draw a whole bunch of other cards here, just lowering his differential. No, he's still his opponent's still draining him here, so he does still need to find ways to answer those. But it looks like most of his characters at this point are already on the table. He's already used 3 Mauls. P-59's down, Grievous is down, Dooku's down, now Ventress is down. Can't play any First Order or Imperials, so there's no Vaders or Maras or anybody else like that. So the bulk of Ketwol's characters have hit the table already. So now it's just really more of a what else can Shaw do? Hey, Chewie's back again. But no force to draw Battle Destiny with. He puts Chewie inside as a pilot. Moves Rey over. So he's just trying to block down all the drains and stuff here. But he is still going to get drained for 2, 1, and 1 ping damage. That's going to cause 4 loss. And he's not really doing any damage back at this point. He does pick up P60 as well, so now he's got an additional card. That's the 7 he put back. So he'll drop P60 to the empty site. He's going to battle in space. He's going to short range combo 1 Destiny to get a 6. I'm sorry, a 5 now, because Django's gone. And then he'll get 1 draw, which will be another 5 because of the objective. So he's got 10 total. And his opponent is going to get 2 draws. Why not P60 and blast the speeder? Put P60 here and shoot the speeder. The speeder's maneuver 5. P60 would have hit it, but then he doesn't have a card to draw for Battle Destiny. So even though he has slightly more power, yeah, I mean, obviously this clears this here too. It's a good question. I guess he's just trying to figure out where he can do the most damage, get the most bang for his buck, and if he starts clearing this stuff out in space, he can sort of maximize his drains here. He's not really in any pressure of losing any of this stuff here, so he's really just trying to get his opponent, I think, off this system while he keeps draining on the ground. And he kind of wants, I think, just wants to just spread and cover as many sites as possible so Greg can't run away from him anymore. So they both draw pretty high. Dr. E and Forlom are going to go away. And it's going to be Radis and the Falcon going on the other side. At this late stage in the game, the Falcon's not, like I said, not really doing a whole lot. Except going out of play. He's going to move Ventress away. That's a little curious. Chewie's inside the speeder. You got a 7 sitting on top. You know you're not going to lose any force here. I probably would have left her there, but that's just me. Ketwol top decks a card. The other thing, remember too, I caught the end of this game live. I know Greg's timer is incredibly low at this point, so maybe that's what it was. He was just running away, just trying to, run his opponent's clock out a little bit, make him spend a little extra time moving stuff around. But I do feel like Greg's timer was probably, at this point in the game, you just had a couple of minutes left. I think he was also playing this game while he was working, so that may have slowed down his decision making. Alright, so light side's going to move and basically just block all the damage possible. Dark side's going to point man. which is going to get grabbed just to take an extra card away. He's got to take the force field. Which he actually could use in this situation. He'll do his 2 points of damage first. Goes to battle. He's going to battle with Chewie. And he's going to use the lost text on force field. Use 2 force to cancel an attempt to use a permanent weapon to target your character. So he'll just pay 2 to cancel the targeting. 6-6. Grievous draws Destiny. It's the card he put back with the point man. Gets subtracted by 2, even though it doesn't really matter, because Chewie forfeits for 6, so whether it's 10-6 or 12-6, Chewie still covers everything. And P-59 is going to slide over to back up P-60. And we basically just go to Lightside's turn here. A 4 and a 5 left floating in there. They will battle in space yet again. A 4 and a 5 is a 9, which becomes 11 with Anakin there. Which is what Fett and Slave 1 cover. So the Invisible Hand will get to stay. And he will not have to pay to drain the following turn. And we'll see what Darkseid draws. 3 pretty solid Destiny here. One of which will get subtracted by 2. There's the 6. That seems like a good one to subtract 2 from. And the 4. So 11 total. That's either combination, whether it's Anakin Rogue One or Poe Corvette. Anakin Rogue One makes more sense. They have a little bit less power and total forfeit. Darkseid loses Fett and Slave 1 and gets to keep the Invisible Hand. So then they'll get to drain 1, ping 1, and drain 2 here, unless people move over. Either way, it's kind of a drain of 2, right? Yep, that guy just gets inside. Yep, Shaw's got 4 cards left in hand. Most of which are going to get lost right here. Drain 2, drain 1, ping 1. He picks up an interrupt from his force pile. He picks a used interrupt that he can easily play and put back. So he shoots with the speeder. He uses P60 to shoot, who shoots at +2. Target hit, opponent loses 1 force, as opposed to target hit and opponent loses 2 force. I guess if you knew what you were shooting with, actually no, because he can subtract 2 because he's flipped. It's maneuver 5, so if you draw a 6, it gets subtracted by 2. It's a 4, and P59 being +1 would miss. So you have to use P60, otherwise you don't hit the ship. It took him 2 turns going all, but he finally got around to P60 shooting the speeder, like you talked about a couple turns ago. And then they both draw Battle Destiny. And then I guess we'll have to see if somebody shuttles up to the Invisible Hand, or how he wants to handle this here. Kieran loses one of the droids. Lightside loses everything there. He could just run away, take the drain at 1, lose a card from hand. And there's the timer. So, yep, so Ketwol's going to get the win here. I think they agreed on 5. Kieran had this card in hand that he could have put back, and Shaw was going to let him do it and give him the differential by 6, but Kieran opted not to take that, and so he just takes the win by 5, and that is that result. So that game, I just got a message. They'll be playing somewhere between 10 and 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, so Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see if we can have that game streamed tomorrow. I'm supposed to do some overtime work, so I don't know if I'll be available to do that game. And then we'll have the Mishki and Tom matchup later in the day. See if the other guys are around and one of them is interested in streaming that game as well. Otherwise, we'll just do replay links on Monday night and get that out of the way in lieu of my usual formatted show. Be sure to tune in Monday night, though, as I'll be giving away a second holiday giveaway. For those of you who watched last week, you know what the giveaway was. The raffle package came in already. Awesome. Glad that arrived. Congratulations, Goranal, who won the raffle last week. Who got the Darth Vader stocking with a couple of European promo packs, and your Twitch subscription stuff was in there as well. Your orange chip and map objective and stuff. So, last card I will reveal from the 2020 League kits. This is the Perfect Attendance foil. If you ever want to give yourself a reason to attend all of your League events, it is Ahsoka Tano. Ooh. Shiny foil Ahsoka. All you got to do is go to all of your League's events, and you'll get that at the end of the season. So, like I said, we'll be doing another holiday giveaway tomorrow night. I'm sorry, Monday night during my regular show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the show. We'll probably do the raffle around 7:15 again. So please feel free to stop on by and enter yourself into that. Thinking about doing a video of opening them. Okay. Yeah. So just don't open it on the PC official platform. But that'll wrap it up for today. Thank you guys all very much for sticking around and watching all of these games. We've got a 2-2 tie right now between Team USA and Team Europe. Ketwol's got a slight lead of 5 differential going into game number 2. And we'll find out tomorrow where things will stand at the end of round 1. Could be a 3-3 tie. Either side could pull ahead 4-2. So then we'll take a couple of weeks off for the holidays. Let the errata go into play, and the new tweak set cards go into effect on GEMP, and then pick things back up in early January with round number 2, when Team Europe and their captain Bastian Winkelhaus gets to assign the matchups. Thank you guys very much for watching today. Hope you had a great time. I know I did. And we will see you back here tomorrow for the remainder of round 1.